10 and his uncle, 21, are sitting at a table in an empty restaurant. The waitress brought them water and a menu. 10 just looks down at the menu without opening it. 21 sees how troubled his nephew is and thinks he can help. "So, what have you been up to?" 10 looks at his uncle with the driest of looks as he answers. "Work, getting into debt, trying to improve my HR to make some more money." This wasn't the answer 21 was expecting or hoping for. His nephew's eyes and answers somewhat unsettle him, but he doesn't want to get into an argument with 10, so he tries to choose his words wisely. "Yeah, I got me some debt as well. Being an adult ain't easy, huh?" 10 doesn't answer the question, assuming it's rhetorical, and just opens his menu instead and glances through the pages. "I want the cheese fries and a milkshake." 21 calls the waitress and orders for 10 and a burger for himself. As the waitress walks away, 10 looks at 21 with a look of distrust. "What did you want to talk about?" 21, shocked at the directness of the question, takes a few seconds before answering. "How come you never visit her?" 10's eyes open up with a surprised look as the question feels weird, as if his uncle should know the answer already. "You know why. That happened over 10 years ago, and I understand why you're mad, but it was not her fault." "Then whose fault was it?" "No one's. Sometimes bad things just happen." "Bad? Were you there? Bad?" "She just stood there." I know, but that's not her fault. She been like that." That one line triggered a memory in 10. He remembers the day after his father hit him over trying to manipulate his rock. He was at his grandmother's house. He was crying because he was still upset. His grandmother tried to console him to the best of her capabilities by holding him as he cried and gently rocking him back and forth. 10 through his tears vented with a broken and tearful voice. "Why didn't Mom help me?" His grandmother didn't say anything. She just kept hugging him and softly rocking him back and forth to get him to stop crying. "She let him hit me. I hate her." His grandmother heard that last sentence and it startled her a bit. She stopped rocking 10 and instead put him on her lap so she could look him in the eyes as she was about to speak. 10, your mother loves you." "No, she doesn't." His grandmother fully understands that 10 isn't in the right mind to hear this right now, but she feels that if she waits any longer, he will turn his feelings into facts, and that will forever ruin the mother and child relationship. 10, what do you do when you're scared? 10 through his tears looks at his grandmother and doesn't really know how to answer the question, so he just thinks of the first thing that comes to mind. "Run away." Well, your mother also runs away, but she runs away to a special place in her mind. 10 doesn't understand what his grandmother is trying to say, so his tears are now covering a very confused-looking face. So his grandmother tries again. "Do you have a very happy memory?" 10 nods his head, and the grandmother gently smiles. "Your mother does too. When she is scared, she goes to that happy memory. For her, it's a special place where no one can hurt her, and she is safe." 10 slowly starts to connect the dots to what his granny is saying. "So she didn't help me because she was in her happy memory?" "Yes." "Why can't she help me and be in her happy memory?" Granny takes a deep breath and sighs as she knows that the answer isn't one 10 will like or understand, but she tries anyway. "Because when your mom is in her happy memory, she's no longer here. She goes to that happy memory to escape from what is scaring her. But I am scared too." "I know, child. I know." His uncle, who is looking at 10 being lost in thought, decides to snap him out of it. 10. The sudden sound of his voice brings 10 back to reality. "Why do you visit her every day?" "She's my sister. It's what family does." 10 looks down at the table, thinking to himself that when he needed help from his family, the only one who was there was his grandmother. So that can't be what family does in his mind. But before he can rebuttal, his uncle interrupts him. "I want to help you with your debt." "What?" "I'm running a business that's going pretty good, And I feel bad for how I left things with you and your mother. So I want to help you. 10 does a special hand gesture that turns on Mai in stealth mode, so that she is on, but only 10 knows she is. You want to help me clear my debt just because you're my uncle? You don't even know how much I own. I might not be able to clear it all, but I'm sure I can help you bring it down. Mai, understanding the situation, goes through a quick analysis to deduce which uncle is sitting across from 10. She realizes it's 21 and immediately starts going through his financial records and criminal records to see if what he is saying is viable. As she cross-references all the information, she finds something disturbing that sends warning signs all over her screen. Mai turns on and immediately starts speaking to 10. There is an emergency at work. They need you right away. 10 looks down at Mai, surprised she turned off the stealth mode to warn him like this. He figures she must have found something that warrants this kind of reaction. 10 immediately stands up and moves away from the table. Sorry, gotta go. As he walks away, their orders arrive. His uncle watches 10 walk away with an agitated look. 10 doesn't look back and hastily leaves the restaurant. As he's outside, he looks at his hand with Mai on it. What happened? Mai doesn't want to run the risk of his uncle walking out and hearing any part of their conversation, so she just answers with a short reply. We need to talk somewhere private. 10 opens the door to his apartment, and the moment he walks in, Mai starts. Your uncle was in jail for 7 years and was just released 2 years ago. 10, having never heard of this, nor caught a hint or anything from his grandmother, is shocked. What? Why? For some reason, his arrest records are sealed. After his release, he set up a company, and that company has been doing amazing. But the steady and constant deposits make it a bit too profitable. It's almost as if his company is a front for money laundering. That's how he got the money to help me. I knew you wouldn't want dirty money, and you turned me on because you knew something was wrong. 10 looks down at the floor as he goes through his memories to see if he missed anything or if there were hints he didn't see. But there is nothing. He can't believe his granny kept this from him, and why would she? He lays down on the bed and stares at the ceiling. His mind races as he is unable to link everything together. After a while, the ceiling bores him, and he looks at the dresser next to his bed with the picture of his mom. And then a thought crosses his mind as he whispers, could it be the glia? As the words leave his mouth, he thinks back to when he was young and he was in his room. It was past his bedtime, but he was still up. He overheard his parents talking and was curious what they were talking about. He quietly opens his door and sneaks down the hallway and peeks around the corner to hear what they are talking about. He can hear his mother's voice talking. You should really try it. I just tried one today and I've never felt smarter or happier. You did what? How could you? Was 10 with you? What is wrong with you? Why would you do that? No, I was alone. He was at school. I wanted to try it because it might help you. You're so stressed and you always say it feels like you're slow, catching up. I feel like they are using you, so this is just to even the playing field. You've seen what glia does to people, all those junkies we pass. Why would you even bring it up? Those are morons. There is research that shows that as long as you use controlled doses, you can enhance performance and mental capacity. Those junkies just got greedy. All we have to do is be smart. Be smart? Are you hearing yourself? Just try it. If you don't like it, you can just stop, right? But you have to do something. Your mood swings are scaring me and 10. I'm afraid you will hurt us, and 10 is scared of you in a bad way. Do this for us. His father looks at his mother with a look filled with confusion, but after a few moments, his face turns to one of acceptance and resignment. You're right. His mother walks to his father and hugs him as she says the last words 10 remembers from that night. Thank you. While 10 is lying on his bed, Demo is still in the gym. The other gym members are still perplexed at what they saw. They all walk out of the gym as they go home talking about the events that transpired. Demo is in the room he was given reading up on the objects and items in the book he was given by Leon. That's when Leon knocks on his door. "Come in." Leon opens the door and smiles as he sees Demo reading the book. Demo doesn't say anything but just looks at Leon as if to ask why he is here with his eyes. Leon beckons Demo to follow him. The two walk into the empty gym. Leon points to the ground. "Stand here." Demo listens and stands where he is told. Leon walks over to a sliding door and grabs a bunch of rocks. He carries the rocks close to where Demo is standing and drops them on the ground. He sits down on the ground between the rocks. He picks one up and throws it gently at Demo, who catches it. Leon then starts explaining what is happening. "Turn that rock into a diamond." Demo closes his eyes and starts focusing to break the rock down and turn it into a diamond. Once he finishes, he shows the diamond to Leon, proud of how smoothly he was able to do it. Leon picks up another rock and throws it up into the air. As it comes back down, he points out his index finger and times it so that he touches the rock mid-air as it falls down. The moment his finger touches the rock, it lights up and transforms into a diamond before it touches the ground. Demo's eyes pop open at what he just saw, and he smiles with excitement at the possibility of being able to do that as well. Demo immediately understands that this is training and points out his index finger and nods like a kid asked if he wants chocolate to show Leon he is ready to begin. Leon replies in kind and throws the rock. They spend the whole night practicing this, but at the end of it, Demo was unable to perform this trick. Leon looks at an exhausted Demo and smiles. "You did good. Get some sleep before the sun comes up. I think you'll be able to get like a good 2 hours before they come get you for the next test. Before that, clean up these rocks." "Yes, sir." As Leon walks back to his private room, he looks back at Demo as he thinks to himself that the speed with which he is absorbing things and learning stuff is amazing. Demo, after cleaning up all the rocks, goes back to his little room and sits on the floor. He grabs the one rock he kept in his pocket and throws it up in the air and keeps practicing. After 2 hours, the door opens again, and 8 stands in the doorframe looking at Demo playing with a rock. He looks baffled and unclear as to what Demo is doing. "Playtime is over. Come down, and let's start the second day." "Okay," Demo nods as he says it, gets up and follows 8 down. The gym is still empty as just 8 and Demo enter. 8 bends down in the corner and puts a piece of tape on the floor. He then puts a small circular device on the floor with a black screen on its surface. He stands up and places his foot on the device. And as he lifts his foot, the black screen is filled with the letter 1. This gym is about the size of a basketball field. You have until the sun sets to run around this gym 1,500 times. Each time you finish a lap, you step on this device to add your laps. If you forget to step on this device, your lap didn't happen, and there is no running backward to step on it after you forgot or missed it. Clear? Demo looks at him with a smirk, as if this trial isn't as daunting as 8 would make it seem. He nods as he answers. "Clear." "Then start running." Demo doesn't waste any time and starts running around the gym. In a different dimension, the beings that gathered have multiplied to what can only be described as an army. They took turns for countless hours attacking the small crack in space that was left behind. With each attack, each swing, each bit of violence exerted upon it, the crack was strained a little. The beings didn't see the crack grow at first, but they knew that if they kept on putting pressure on it, eventually, the waves of energy would force it to crack open even more. And it was after what felt like an eternity, the first sign of the crack growing showed. This delighted them and gave them even more incentive to keep going. Once the crack started increasing in size, it kept breaking exponentially until finally it opened up enough for an army to walk through. They stepped through the portal into a new dimension. Once a lot of them were through, they stood still and let their bodies adjust to the new sensations of the dimension. Once fully adjusted, they let loose a scream so loud and so vicious that it shook the very planet beneath them. On planet numbers, every person heard a sudden sound coming from the sky. It was as if the gods themselves were angry and let loose a scream of rage, As the sound covered the entire planet, everyone felt a cold chill run down their spine. Once the scream reached Demo, who was running, he grabbed his chest in pain and fell down. The tattoo on his chest started pulsating again, but this time it was a lot more violent, as if the scream excited it. The other students who had since gathered in the gym all looked at each other in confusion as to what the sound was. Leon, who was in his private room, looked up in fear. He recognized the sound, and with fear in his voice he said, "No." The beings above the planet, having finished their harrowing scream, looked at the planet with rage in their eyes. A huge being covered in scars and armor then walked up to be in front of them. His aura was filled with menace and anger as he pointed at the planet and spoke in their language. "Nethal Thramana, let them drown in their shadows." This is the war cry the other beings were waiting for. They rush towards the planet. It's as if a wave of darkness is about to crash into the planet. The flames of entry don't seem to have any effect on them. As they land, they release another scream. The people in this city, seeing the dark being, realize that they are in danger, because these seem like the monsters they have been taught about in school. Panic rolls over the land as the beings start slaughtering everything that crosses their path. The beings landed on one continent and started their rampage. The rest of the world was quickly informed of the sudden invasion. All the TV screens broadcasted the sudden massacre happening on their planet. These are the images of the destruction caused by the Palindra who invaded our world. There must have been a portal rupture somewhere. Requests for help has been sent to the UDA, Universe Defense Army, but it will take them some time before they arrive. We want to ask anyone who is capable to please go and defend our planet before it's too late. The news spread across planet numbers as all the gyms and martial artists and those who deemed themselves strong got ready to go to battle with the Palindra monsters. Back in the Dragon Gym, Demo was still on the ground, but the other members were all busy getting dressed for battle or cowering in the corner or calling their family members. They all stopped what they were doing when Leon stepped into the gym wearing his full battle uniform. All attention turned to him, and he decided to boost morale before they stepped onto the battlefield. "All of you here get ready to fight. Being afraid doesn't mean you get to skip fighting for your life. These monsters don't care if you're afraid. So why should you? The S rank will be the vanguard. You will take the brunt of their attack and kill as many as you can. A rank, you will take care of those that slip through the cracks. B, you will do all you can to support the A rank. Make sure their equipment stays strong. Make sure their bones don't stay broken for long. And the new recruits, you will be in the back. Your duty is to make sure that materials are in constant supply. If you can join the fight, do so. If you're too afraid to fight with your fists, fight with your ability to strengthen others." The members nod. Make sure everyone is wearing a belt of materials and a bracelet of durability. 8 looks at Leon and feels like a certain piece of information is missing, so he decides to ask, "Master, what will you do?" Leon smiles at the question as if to reassure everyone. "Show you what it means to be a master and why our gym is the strongest." 8 nods and Leon screams to make sure they hear him and their morale is up to its peak. "Now get ready for war!" All the members scream in unison as they prepare everything. The previous confusion is gone as everyone knows what to do. Leon then looks at Demo on the ground grasping his chest. He walks towards Demo and kneels in front of him, touches Demo's shirt and transforms it into a sheet of paper. He sees that Demo is holding his tattoo and the tattoo vibrating in a weird way. Do you know why it's hurting? Demo, in pain, shakes his head profusely. Leon keeps his focus on the tattoo. "How did you get it?" Demo shakes his head as he in pain answers, "I don't know, I woke up with them." Leon looks at the members in the gym and how they are getting ready to put their lives on the line. He looks back down at Demo. "We are going to need you in this fight. Are you okay with me helping you?" Demo nods. "Move your hand." While still in pain, Demo decides to trust Leon and moves his hand away slowly from his chest. Leon doesn't waste any time and places his hand on the tattoo. He closes his eyes and starts chanting. But this particular chant sounds different from all the other chants Demo has heard. This one doesn't sound like math, but more so language-based. The edge of the tattoo starts lighting up. The pain starts subsiding, and as Demo looks down to see what's happening, he sees 4 symbols appear around the tattoo. Up, down, left, and right, a symbol appears he has never seen before. Once the symbols complete themselves, the pain is completely gone. Demo stands up and Leon raises as well. Demo, this isn't your war, but we need your help to save as many people as we can. Who is attacking you? They are beings that reside in between dimension. Why are they attacking you? Because they are angry, but their anger is harming innocent people right now, so we need to protect them. Why are they angry at you? It would take too long to explain. We need to help the people first. After I will explain everything. Will you help us? Demo looks at Leon to see if he can tell if his words are sincere. But this old man hasn't lied to Demo yet, so why would he start now? Demo nods. Okay, just tell me what to do. Leon smiles. Just follow me and hit whatever attacks you. Demo smiles excitedly. Leon goes into his pocket and grabs a small device. He types in what seems to be coordinates and throws it in front of him. A gate opens up, and on the other side is what looks like a war zone. On the other side of this is where the Palindra are. The moment you step through, be ready for anything. S, rank behind me. He looks at Demo and beckons him to come stand next to him. And in order, they start walking through the gate onto the battlefield. On a screen in a ship in space, a sudden message pops up, and with it, several alarms go off. Katsueki closes the book he is reading and looks at the screen. It reads, Emergency. Portal rupture. Stitch has failed. Damn. He stands up and places his hands on the floor of the ship. The entire ship starts to glow. Leon, Demo, and the entire group arrived at their destination after the last person walked through the gate. They closed it. They look around and see a level of destruction they've only read about in books. The buildings are either completely destroyed or in ruins. There are dead bodies everywhere. Some of the members started throwing up. Seeing this kind of death and mayhem is a shock their senses couldn't handle. Demo feels sadness as he sees the bodies on the ground, but he is able to keep his anger in check. Demo checks his surroundings beyond the bodies but can't see anything. Leon can sense a good amount of malice coming from what used to be a busy shopping street. He raises his hand and points in the direction of the street. Stay alert and protect those close to you. Work as a team, and we will be fine. The group starts walking in the direction of the source of the killing intent. As they do, Leon notices that there are fewer bodies on the ground, and the buildings are scratched but not destroyed. When he comes around the final corner, he sees it. A mountain of dead bodies piled up, and on top of them a Palindra soldier with a huge sword covered in blood is sitting looking at Leon and the group. The Palindra soldier doesn't move, but just stares at the group as they make their way closer to the mountain of corpses. Once Leon is in front of the dead bodies, he looks up at the Palindra soldier and starts talking in their language. Shanik Sorin Vandi Tindro, proud warrior, please stop this war. The Palindra soldier opens his eyes wide in shock at the words coming from a regular person. But the very next moment his face twists in anger at this unforgivable act. He raises up to stand, grabs his big sword, and points it at Leon as he screams in anger. Iesh. Silence. The sheer volume and rage embedded in his scream make it seem as if the ground is shaking. Leon and Demo, however, both seem unfazed as they keep their gaze on the soldier. The rest of the members, however, are clearly shook as they immediately transform material into weapons to defend themselves. The soldier continues speaking. Kromor Visara Vishar Nolvar. Scum like you isn't allowed to speak in the language of the gods. Leon doesn't break eye contact. He knows that the soldier can attack at any moment and that the slightest provocation can set him off. But he doesn't have any other way of communication, so he tries again. "Sarin, please." Before Leon can finish his sentence, the soldier disappears from sight as if he used extremely high speed. Leon immediately reacts by speedily transforming the material on his wrist. It turns into a beautiful blade, and with sheer instinct, he is able to stop the incoming attack from the soldier who is now right in front of him. The sound of their blades clashing sends a shockwave through the entire area. As everyone is watching Leon clash with the soldier, they don't notice the slight movements in the shadows of the buildings. The exact moment the blades of Leon and the soldier clash, a group of Palindra emerge from the shadows right behind the newest members who were told to stay in the back. The Palindra attack without mercy and start slaughtering the helpless new members. As the screams for help grow, and they are unable to overcome their fear, the new members start running away. Having realized what was happening, the B-ranked members broke formation, trying to help the new members. 8 looked back, and from his past experiences, he was able to see the flow the battle was taking. He recognized that everything was going too clean, as if it was all a trap. He screamed at the B rank to stop them from breaking formation. "No, don't go! Stay in formation!" But it was too late. The formation was broken, and a lot of them were going after the Palindra that emerged from the shadows. But the moment their rank and file was broken, the Palindra, as if on cue, jumped back into the shadows and disappeared. 8 knew that this was now officially a trap and started looking around. And that's when he saw a large group of Palindra on the roofs of the buildings. He whispered his fears to himself. That's why they didn't destroy these buildings. The Palindra on the roof let go what can only be described as a war cry, and then they let loose a barrage of black arrows that blackened the sky and rained down on the members. 8 screamed as fast as he could. "Shields up!" The S and A ranks immediately created shields to protect themselves. The B ranked who went to help the new members tried to do their best to put up shields for themselves as well as the new members, but not all were successful. Leon, who senses what is going on behind him, got extremely angry, but you wouldn't be able to tell from his face as he kept his composure. Demo, standing next to him, looks at the power struggle between Leon and the soldier. "Do you need help?" Leon smiles at the question and breaks eye contact with the soldier to look at Demo. "Nah, I'm okay. Heads up." And as Leon says that, he nods his head and looks past Demo, as if to warn him that something is coming his way. As Demo looks to where Leon was looking, he sees a big Palindra with an axe rushing towards him. Demo's eyes turn red with excitement, and he smiles. This will be his first real fight and the first step towards becoming stronger. The axe Palindra tries to slash and hack Demo, but Demo is able to move out of the way with each one. As the axe Palindra gets more and more frustrated with the constant misses, he prepares for a big swing, and the extra motion creates enough space and time for Demo to counter. "My turn!" Demo rushes in with the speed of a bullet and punches the Palindra straight in the chest. The Palindra explodes into thin air. This attack shocks even the big soldier Palindra, who is facing Leon as he quickly turns his head to look at what just happened. It's this break in concentration that allows Leon to fully regain his own composure, and he forces the soldier backward with sheer force. "It seems you Palindra learned a few new tricks while I was retired." Leon kneels down and places his hand on the ground. A ring of energy emanates from where Leon has his hand on the ground. The ring is followed by a circle that grows until it covers the entire area. He looks up at the soldier with a smile. "Let me return the favor." Diamond spikes spring up from the ground, attacking all the Palindra. The ones on the roof get attacked as well. The ground that was covered in shadows brings forth dark spikes that force the Palindra that were hiding in the dark out into the open. Most of the Palindra were able to block the spikes thanks to their fast reaction speed and understanding that the ring of energy was to be an attack, but not all of them. The ones who hid in the shadows weren't as lucky as they didn't see the ring, so they were all impaled by the spikes. But the ones who were able to block it were forced onto equal ground with the gym members so that they could now be attacked as well. Leon stands back up, grabs his sword, and raises it up high. Kill them all! The gym members scream in unison, and they all start attacking the Palindra that have been forced down. The Palindra, not afraid of battle, regain their footing and charge the members as well. Unbeknownst to those fighting, there are still several security cameras still functioning. These cameras are streaming the fights happening all over that city. Dragon's Gym wasn't the only gym or group that answered the call for help. Several gyms and institutions gathered to fight the Palindra. As each fight was as bloody and epic as the next one, each channel chose a camera to focus on. 10 had rushed outside to go to his mother to protect her in case the Palindra attacked his area. As he ran, he caught a glimpse of one of the channels showing the security camera footage. It was there that he saw Demo on screen. He stopped to look at Demo fighting the Palindra. He couldn't believe the Palindra actually attacked, but what shocked him even more was that Demo was able to defeat one of them so easily. It was right then that the hairs on the back of his neck stood up. He looked around at what could make his body react like that. He didn't see anything, but then he heard screams all around him and someone pointed up at the sky. And there he saw it, a dark wave of shadows making its way down. The Palindra were about to descend here as well. High above the planet numbers. The gate is still open, and more Palindra have joined their ranks. The big group is standing in formation at key locations above the planet awaiting their orders. Their leader is looking down at the planet, monitoring the first wave he sent out. His second in command is standing next to him with a smile as he enjoys the view. Samohan Karna, they fell for it. The leader smiles as he sees more and more people being sent to the disaster area to help fight against the Palindra. Vishvas Yogi Kromor. You can always trust a fool to do foolish things. But as the leader watches the energy signals and patterns happening on the ground, he notices an occasional flicker of energy that draws his attention. It's too clean and powerful to be coming from a regular person. Venor. Strange. Back on the planet at the center of their military, there is a big meeting being held. Their entire military defense is in an uproar at the sudden attack. They were notified of the gate opening near them, but were also told that Stitches arrived soon after and closed the gate. Stitches is known for their low percentage of failure. It stands at around 0%, so they didn't feel the need to prepare for the worst-case scenario because they put their trust in Stitches. Now that the worst has happened, they are scrambling to defend themselves. The president of the planet is in a panicked state as he screams at his staff. How could this have happened? We don't know, sir. Somehow they broke through a gate that Stitches closed. We received the gate closure confirmation from Stitches after they concluded. Damn! The president hits the table in anger as he is powerless to help his people in their time of peril. How are we doing? Well, sir, we have sent our own forces who lost several key battles. After informing the general public and asking for their aid, all the gyms and private security companies teleported to the disaster area to help fight. And since then, we have seen some success, but the loss of life has been catastrophic. With a look of fear and despair, the president looks at the big screen in front of him with several small screens in it, with each of them streaming a different battle. We have to stop them here. If they are allowed to leave this city, they will do what they always do and ravage everything in their path and devour this whole planet. We cannot end up like Planet Alpha. We have put up a defense perimeter around the city, sir. We will stop them if they try to leave the city by any means necessary. Suddenly, a big red sign comes across the screen that reads, Warning. The entire screen switches to one camera, and it shows a wave of Palindra bearing down on a different city. Everyone in the meeting stops dead in their tracks and stares at the screen in complete disbelief. The president collapses in the chair behind with tears in his eyes as he has lost all hope. One of the generals at the meeting realizes what has happened and stands up. They tricked us. They knew we would assume they would do what they always do, start in one place and spread out. They knew we would send all our forces to that one place to stop that from happening. They knew. They knew we would empty all our cities to protect the one. They knew. The president looks back at the general with a face filled with shock and dismay. No, that's impossible. Those savages don't have the ability to use strategy. Apparently they do, sir. Damn. The president turns back to the screen, and as he does, several more screens pop up, all with similar scenes of waves of Palindra falling from the sky about to attack. How much longer before the UDA arrives? About an hour, sir. They might be too late. On one of the screens, we can see 10 running past the camera. After seeing the stream of darkness making its way towards the city, he knows he has to rush to save his mother. As he comes around the corner of the hospital, he sees her. Her brother is carrying her out of the hospital. His uncle and 10 lock eyes. They immediately understand that working together for the sake of 10's mother is key. 10, you have an EI, right? 10 turns on Mai and the back of his hand lights up. Yeah. Keep her on and make sure she notifies us of where the Padra are. 10 nods and looks at his palm. Mai overheard the conversation and didn't need to be told twice. On it. His uncle, still carrying his mother, tilts his head as a sign for 10 to follow him. Follow me. We gotta get off this planet before it's too late. But how? I have a friend who still owes me a favor. Let's go. The two start running as Mai tells them where to go and not go. More and more cities are being attacked. The news has also reached some of those who went to the front lines at the first city. Their morale has taken a huge hit. They left their homes to protect their family and friends. But now they are in harm's way, and there is nothing they can do to help. Hopelessness falls over the fighters sent to protect their planet. But those who are in the middle of fighting didn't have the luxury to get updated on the news, so they were still fighting with all their heart like Leon and Demo. The gym members, especially the S rank, were holding their own against the Palindra. Leon looked around and saw his pupils get hurt. He wanted to change the conditions with which he asked Demo to join. Demo, please go help my pupils. Demo looks at Leon with a smile. So I can go attack first? Leon nods. Demo smiles, and without hesitation, he rushes towards the big fray. As he rushes in, he thinks to himself that he was able to read the attack pattern of the axe guy, but wasn't able to do anything until the attack stopped. So he needs to improve his reading of movements and learn how to intercept before the attack reaches him. He sees a big Palindra wielding a sword fighting a B rank and jumps to attack from the sky. The Palindra sees him coming and blocks the incoming kick. The Palindra parries the force of the kick and tries to attack Demo with a heavy slash. Demo tries to move into the attack of the blade to counterattack, but messes up the timing because it is his first time. The attack is effective and Demo gets cut across his chest. He sees his own blood. The shock of being injured completely stops Demo in his tracks. His eyes, glowing red, start turning black until they are completely dark. He looks at the Palindra that hurt him, and without warning, he rushes at him with a punch. The Palindra tries to block the punch, but Demo's punch is so strong that it breaks the sword and hits the Palindra so hard he explodes as well. Demo lets loose a scream of rage and turns his gaze at another Palindra. He runs towards it, jumps up, and starts rotating to increase extra torques to his kick, and this Palindra again tries to block the incoming attack. But this one was even heavier than the punch. The Palindra didn't only explode, but the force of the attack created a force of energy so heavy it crashed into the buildings behind it, and they collapsed. Demo repeated this pattern and started exterminating all the Palindra there. The leader soldier Palindra who was facing Leon is shocked at the sight of his people getting slaughtered so one-sidedly. Even Leon is taken aback at the sight of Demo literally being a one-man army. The soldier Palindra recognizes that Demo is an unknown variable that disrupts their entire plan. Leaving is now the only way out. As he screams, "Inetha!" Retreat. But it's too late as Demo just finished the last Palindra that was standing in his way. A blood-covered Demo stands in a dust cloud created by the fighting. His eyes still black and so much rage surrounding his body that it distorts the space around him. He then looks at the soldier Palindra. 10 followed his uncle and mother as they ran in a city gripped with panic. Screams filled the air as people pointed at the sky and the impending shadows that were making their way down. People were jumping from buildings as they assumed that suicide was a more serene path towards death. For as long as their history was recorded, the Palindra had a special place in society's collective mind as the ultimate boogeyman. So to see them come down from the heavens like the shadow of the Grim Reaper brought many to the point of insanity. Running away with no destination in mind, but fear told them that running is better than staying put. And with the knowledge that their fighters were towards what they believed to be the real war zone, they felt even more defenseless than they initially would. 10 and his uncle dodged panicked runners, and 10 was confused as it felt as if they were running towards where the Palindra would seem to land. "Where are we going?" "We are going to a hangar. There is a ship there for us to escape." "You have a ship?" His uncle isn't 100% sure of this promise, as he is relying on his friend to keep his promise. And there was always a certain code of honor between thieves, but he isn't sure that the code can survive this situation of life and death. "Just follow me." The three of them keep running until they finally reach their destination. There is only one spaceship left in the hangar. There is no pilot or crew, but the ship seems okay for flight. His friend isn't there, but at least there is still a ship. His uncle puts down 10's mother. 10, come here and hold her hand while I go and check the plane. 10 is somewhat reluctant, but he knows that his mother needs help. So he walks up and grabs her hand. The moment her hand is in his, he has a flashback. 10, his mother, and a friend of his mother are walking down the street. He is holding her hand. She is bringing him somewhere that he has never been. She said it would be a surprise. He is listening to his mother and friend talk as they walk. Her friend seems to be convincing his mother of something. "Trust me, it's a mood enhancer. You have never felt this good before in your life. You know that feeling when you get something you want and you're all happy and excited. Just imagine that feeling times a million." Is it safe though? Is feeling happy safe? Is feeling good safe? A feeling can't kill you. And that's all Glia does. It just takes whatever you're feeling and makes it bigger and better. Okay. 10 is looking up at his mother, who looks back down at him with a smile. Slowly but surely, their surroundings start to change from a good neighborhood to what can only be described as a ghetto. The three of them walk into a dilapidated building with strung-out people whispering to themselves in front. 10, scared, tightens his grip. His mother, noticing her boy is nervous, pats him on the head. "It's okay, 10. You're safe with me." His mother then proceeds to let go of his hand. "Just wait here, okay?" 10's eyes open up with tears in them as he is scared and doesn't want to be left alone. But he is trying to be brave because his mother asked him to do something. So he simply nods and tries to hide his tears. He sees his mother walk up to a man sitting in a chair. She gives him some money, and the man gives her something in return. 10's mother and friend then come back with what seems to be a bag with some pills. They open the bag up and each takes one pill. 10's mother then kneels down in front of 10 and gives him a hug and whispers to him, "I love you so much. You're the love of my life, and I will always be there for you." She hugs him tighter, and 10, being scared, welcomes the hug and hugs her back. As he does, his mother feels a wave of love and happiness come over her. And that's when she swallowed the pill. Her entire body and mind are overcome with a sensation unlike she has ever felt before. Happiness so deep and beautiful, it almost overwhelmed her to the point of shutting down. She started crying tears of joy without anything happening. 10, hearing his mother crying, gets worried. "Mom, are you okay?" Yes, I'm just so happy." 10 smiles as he hugs his mother tighter to make her even happier. And that's where the flashback ended. He looks at his absent-minded mother, who is standing there staring into nothingness. And it's hard for him to suppress his anger. But then he hears his uncle scream in the spaceship. "Damn it!" His uncle comes out of the spaceship and looks at 10 with a disappointed look on his face. "We have a problem." This exact same sentiment was expressed far above the planet. The leader of the Palindra noticed the sudden disappearance of a group that was sent as the first wave. They were instructed to create a visual that would enrage those who saw it, like a mountain of corpses, and in their rage, they wouldn't notice they are entering a kill zone. So for the group to disappear, it would mean that an unknown variable appeared that was strong enough to kill them all. The energy pattern he noticed before that was out of place might be the reason. He can't afford to let this variable run wild and take out more of his friends and soldiers. Viendal Nikara, I will be going down. His right-hand man is also looking at the same scene and understand the leader's thinking, and he knows how strong the leader is, so there is nothing to worry about no matter what might be down there. Zentor, all you will see is success. And with that, the leader makes his way down to where Demo is. As the leader rushes down, Ketsueki makes his way into the galaxy, meaning he is closing in at a rapid speed. Ketsueki used higher reasoning to transform his casual ship into one that could withstand travel faster than the speed of light. He used the energy of dark matter surrounding the ship as fuel to maintain the speed. The power Ketsueki's ship is emitting and the usage of black matter is a disturbance to the universe that only those sensitive enough to the energy in the universe can sense. The right-hand man of the leader senses that danger is incoming. There are only a few elite soldiers left to guard the portal and make sure their escape route is kept safe. Estelle, get ready. The remaining soldiers now also sense the ship coming in. They all draw their weapons, and a few go back into the portal and throw lines at those on this side, so they can keep a link between the two dimensions. The ship arrives at the planet and stops before the gate. The ship starts glowing and turns into a long blade that Ketsueki holds in his other hand, as his umbrella is still in his other one. Ketsueki looks at the Palindra standing in front of the gate. He sees the lines going into the portal and understands that those still standing there would be those strong enough to defend it from whatever or whoever might come. Ketsueki looks at the planet and sees all the energy patterns going crazy, and recognizes that there is a war going on the whole planet. Ketsueki points his blade at the group in front of him. I hope you had fun. The right-hand man of the leader can sense that Ketsueki isn't a normal being, but he has to protect the gate, regardless of his own safety. He knows that alone he won't be able to beat Ketsueki, so his plan is to use strength in numbers and take care of it quickly. Zealer, attack! Ketsueki lowers his head and charges toward the group rushing at him. Demo stands in the cloud of dust his actions and fights have created. The image of destruction he left behind was awe-inspiring for those who wished for strength. But Demo has lost himself in the pain created by the wound left by the Palindra. His consciousness slumbers in the darkness of rage. All he can see is what resembles a soul encased in a silhouette of the body it's encased in. The wound was inflicted by a big soul with a distorted flow in it, so his instinct is to destroy all similar souls first. As he stands on top of the remains of a Palindra, he looks over his left shoulder to the last Palindra soul still shining. His black eyes focused on the soldier with the big sword. The soldier Palindra meets his gaze. Instead of being overcome by fear, his warrior instinct kicked in full gear and he is hell-bent on killing Demo as revenge for those who have fallen. He readies his sword. Karna, come! Demo slowly walks towards the soldier. After the 5th step, he disappears from sight for most watching. But the soldier tracks his movements. Demo has jumped up and is rushing towards the soldier in a Superman punch pose to strike him. The soldier calmly raises his hand up and right. As Demo comes into the soldier's range of attack, the soldier lowers his hand with his index and middle finger pointing down to hit the top of Demo's fist. This tap on the top of his fist forces his momentum to become distorted and off balance. His punch fails as he hits the ground and starts rolling over the ground. As Demo rolls, the soldier sees this as a perfect chance to attack and jumps up with his sword ready to smash downwards and cut Demo in half. While rolling, Demo sees the soldier's soul closing in, and with one fluid motion he takes a squatting position. As the sword swings down, Demo dodges to the right. The soldier immediately stands up ready to continue. Demo runs towards the soldier and throws a high kick to destroy the soldier's head, but the soldier can see the kick coming, so he ducks down and sweep kicks Demo so that he falls again. Before the soldier can swing his sword down again, Demo is back up. The soldier starts trying to attack, but Demo dodges the attacks. Each slash ends up empty. The soldier smiles as he recognizes that Demo is doing all this by instinct. He is reacting at the last moment to dodge each blow, and his reflexes are otherworldly, which allows him to pull this off. The soldier feels this is worthy of praise. Arthalia, impressive. The soldier recognizes that Demo's instinct is amazing, but that instinct by itself has its limitations. So the soldier decides to up the ante. The soldier increases his murderous intent and the bloodlust he exudes from his sword. He then controls his energy by making it seem like several slashes are going towards Demo. Demo, who has been moving on instinct, doesn't know which attack is the real one. His senses are overwhelmed by the sheer number of possible attacks. Demo freezes, and it's right then that the soldier sees his chance and swings his sword down with all his might. But before it can reach Demo, the soldier is kicked in his side, and his sword misses its mark. Leon has stepped in to save Demo. He recognized that the soldier had figured out the limitations of Demo and the trouble it could spell. After being kicked, the soldier looks at Leon with rage. But then he sees the other S-ranked pupils and the remaining gym members that survived the ordeal also stand at the ready to attack. He understands that he is in a very disadvantageous situation. All of his squadron has been eliminated, and him alone against this many would prove nothing but fatal. He looks up at the sky. Viendel Karathis. He should be coming. He knows that the sudden death of his squadron will have alerted his leader, who will then make his way down to help the situation or eliminate whatever killed them. But the soldier isn't certain he will be able to survive until his leader returns. He points his blade at Leon, and in the language of the current dimension he speaks. My name is Daiwena. I will have my revenge. And with those words, he jumps into the shadows and disappears as he flees to safety. But with the last Palindra gone, Demo has lost the source of his rage, but not the rage itself. He slowly stands up and looks at the remaining gym members with his black eyes. Leon immediately recognizes that Demo has switched targets. Kneel and don't move! He knows that Demo right now is trying to kill anything that might be considered a foe. So the best way to soothe him is to make sure you take the most submissive pose possible and lower yourself so as to not seem to be a threat. The lower-ranked pupils followed the order immediately, but the S-rank's pride got in the way, which caused a slight delay as they didn't understand why they had to kneel. Fools! Demo rushes towards the standing S-ranks, ready to kill them all. But Leon is able to cut him off before he reaches them. The shockwave of Leon stopping Demo is enough to force all the pupils behind them to be pushed back a few meters. Leon and Demo are now face to face, and Leon can see his own reflection in the darkness that dwells in Demo's eyes. Just as Demo is charging up to fight Leon, he stops and looks at the sky. He senses a giant Palindra soul coming his way. During this small distraction, Leon sees a chance to restore Demo to his sane self. He gathers energy in his fist that focuses on disrupting the flow of energy of anything it touches. He punches Demo in the back, and as the energy goes through Demo's body, it disrupts his rage and brings him back to his senses. Demo lowers his head as all the rage and tension that covered his body leaves him like steam coming off his body. He turns to Leon with a confused look on his face. What happened? Leon looks at him with a stern look and shakes his head. Nothing happened. Focus on what's coming. Demo looks at him and then looks down at his body and wounds on his body. He grabs his chest, but know that what is coming is more important than what happened before. And then it comes into sight. The leader of the Palindra lands in front of them. He looks at Demo, then Leon and the rest of the group. He then focuses his gaze on Demo as he recognizes him to have the strongest energy out of all those present. The leader starts speaking in this dimension's language. Who are you? I'm Demo. You have to die. Demo gets into an aggressive stance and looks at the leader as his eyes go red. Try. The leader draws his sword and readies it for attack. But as he does, he receives a message on his transponder, and everyone can hear the message as it comes through. Prime perfect! Ketsueki stands alone. His umbrella was covered in darkness, and his sword was stained with blood of the Palindra he has just slain. Not a single one survived the ordeal, and Ketsueki was unscathed. He approaches the gate and looks for the cause of its rupture after being closed by stitches. I think I get it. One of their needles didn't close its hole properly. I'm going to have to give them an earful after this. He places his palm on the surface of the gate and closes his eyes. The gate starts glowing until it flashes a big bright light that eclipses the sun for a moment. The gate is now completely frozen. This should hold it for a bit. Now to wrap things up. He turns his head back to the planet. He can see all the energy patterns and the dismay the planet is in. He sees a very big energy and assumes that it's the leaders of the Palindra. He places the sharp edge of his blade on the palm of his empty hand and slowly pulls it back. He removes the blade and immediately makes a fist. The inside of his fist starts to glow, and while he is doing this, the leader of the Palindra stands quietly, contemplating what to do next. The dust from his landing is still settling as the leader stands in front of Demo and Leon. He is troubled by the news of the Prime Perfect being present. He is well aware that having a great number of fighters doesn't mean much in front of the overwhelming strength of the Prime Perfect. His gaze jumps all over the place as he is lost in thought and the remains of his kind is scattered about. He takes a deep breath to relax his mind. He grabs his transponder and holds it up to his mouth. Prime Perfect Zalthira Enetha Somnia. The Prime Perfect is here. Make survival your top priority and retreat. The leader knows that if the Prime Perfect puts his mind to it, he could easily wipe all the weak Palindra out without breaking a sweat. The best course of action is to draw the PP's attention to reduce the chance of him going after the others. So the leader starts making his soul vibrate more and more violently. This allows the energy that resides in him to swell up several times over. The sudden explosion of energy emanating from the leader is enough to create gusts of wind that bring up dust storms that force all those close to him to cover their faces. Ketsueki notices the big increase in energy and smiles. I'll bite. Ketsueki rushes down towards the leader. In no time, Ketsueki lands in front of him, but instead of facing the leader, Ketsueki is facing Leon. Old man, Trill Leon, you look a little beat up. You aight? Little Eki, you're late. Isn't the Prime Perfect supposed to supervise stitches? Ketsueki rubs his head as if he is about to make an excuse and smiles innocently. Hey, I had some books I wanted read. Leon shakes his head and slowly walks towards Ketsueki. When the two are in reach of each other, they both put out their open hands as if they are about to shake hands. But the moment their fingertips touch each other, they make a fist and hit each other's fist. The clash of energy creates a small explosion. The two have done this countless times, and they both smile as they have officially greeted each other. Leon is the first one to speak. You got a little stronger since last time. Ketsueki smiles and nods. You got a little weaker since last time. No one beats old age. Ketsueki turns around to look at the leader. Is he the one who did all this? There was another one who fled. This guy came as backup and right after you came. Ketsueki then looks at Demo. Demo looks back at him, in awe of the strength and control Ketsueki emanates. Ketsueki senses something in Demo he can't place just yet. Have we met before? Demo looks at him and shakes his head. No. Ketsueki's eyes fully open up in shock as he remembers where he knows Demo's energy pattern from. You're the signal. Demo is confused as to what it means. He has never been referred to as the signal. What? Ketsueki has a troubled look on his face as he is trying to deduce how this could have happened. Once we are done here, you're going to have to come with me. Leon immediately knows that this isn't good news for Demo, and wants more information. What did he do? Ketsueki doesn't turn around to face Leon, but instead points his sword at the Palindra leader. That's what we are going to find out. With those words, he focuses his gaze on the leader and takes steps toward him. The leader responds in kind and readies his sword to meet whatever attack Ketsueki may try. Ketsueki throws a simple downward slash to test the leader's skill. The leader diverts the attack with a high level of skill, and then immediately counters. The two start fighting, and the leader is able to hold his own. Leon walks towards Demo until he is next to him and grabs a small diamond-like rock from his pocket and puts it in Demo's hand. Use this in the ship and go to the first location stored in its memory. Demo has no idea what Leon is talking about. What are you talking about? Once I open the gate, run through it and use the ship to leave. Why? If you leave with little Iki, your life is over. Leave before he has the chance to take you. I can just beat him. Ketsueki is the prime perfect. He is literally the strongest man in this whole universe. I was only able to make it to the top 100. You are nowhere near ready to fight him. Demo watches the leader and Ketsueki fight and is unable to track their movements with his eyes. He can tell that if he were to face Ketsueki right now, he wouldn't be able to keep up. He looks at Leon and nods. Will you be okay? Leon laughs at Demo's concern. Don't worry about me. I know how to handle little Iki. From behind his belt, Leon grabs a device, he throws it on the ground, and it opens a gate. Through the gate, you can see a big ship. In front of the ship are Ten and his uncle with his mother. Demo sees Ten and smiles and starts moving towards the gate. He looks back at Leon one last time. Thank you. Moments before the Prime Perfect landed near Demo, Ten and his family members were standing in front of the empty ship. His uncle had just checked the ship and found a problem. The uncle is looking around to see if he can find anything to make the ship work, as Ten wants to know what exactly is wrong. What is the problem? The ship doesn't have a core. A core? Yeah, it's like the key to start it. Without the key, this is just a high-level piece of junk. We can't just HR a core. You can, but the core and ship need to be a perfect match. Each sequence of the core needs to align with the ship. It's damn near impossible. So what are we gonna do? His uncle lowers his head as if the situation has defeated him. I don't know. As he says those words, a Palindra warrior lands in front of the hangar door and looks at the three of them. His uncle looks at the warrior and then looks at Ten, who is closer. In a low voice, he warns Ten, "Don't move." Ten, seeing the panic in his uncle's face, feels he needs to look behind him to see what his uncle is looking at. He sees the warrior and falls down out of fear. He takes his mother down with him as well. The Palindra doesn't say anything as he takes a step forward. The Palindra draws his sword and lets the sharp edge land on the ground. He drags it on the ground as he comes closer to Ten and his mother. The sound of the sword scratching the floor and closing in is making all of Ten's senses shut down. His uncle knows that the moment he charges the Palindra, they will all instantly die. He is trying to find a way to save all three of them. He is thinking about what the best possible steps are to escape this situation in one piece. Should they run away and see how far they can get? Should he charge the Palindra and let Ten and his sister escape? Should he hire Reason something and use it as a weapon to fight the Palindra? The warrior is now in front of Ten and his mother. He looks down at the two as a predator would its prey. He tightens his grip on his sword as he is about to attack. And it's right then, when a sudden sound is heard coming from the Palindra's transponder. Prime, Perfect, Zalthira, Enitha, Somnia. The Palindra seems frozen in time for a moment. The sudden news was enough to startle him to the point of shaking for a few moments. He turns around and quickly runs out of the hangar and jumps into the sky. Ten and his uncle both watch him run away and jump into the sky. And in the far distance, they can see several black lines go into the sky as well. As if all the Palindra decided to retreat at the same time. With the imminent danger having passed, his uncle runs towards Ten and his mother. Are you okay? 10 slowly stands up and then helps his mother up as well. Yeah, I'm fine. As they look outside to the shadows leaving their planet, they feel like the worst is over. A few moments pass and suddenly a gate opens up near them. As 10 looks at the gate, he sees Demo on the other side. He is surprised to suddenly see Demo again, but also somewhat relieved. Demo jumps through the gate with a smile on his face. 10! He shouts his name in excitement because the two haven't met for a while. The moment Demo is completely through the gate, Leon steps on the device that opened the gate. Ketsueki threw a quick glance at Leon to show him that he saw what he did. He then continues the fight with the leader of the Palindra. After a few more exchanges, Ketsueki puts a good amount of power behind his slash for the first time. The leader is surprised at the sudden change in power from Ketsueki. Ketsueki looks at the leader with a grin on his face as he approaches him. I know you can understand me, and it was a nice plan. Sacrifice yourself to save your people. The leader looks at him shocked as he is now extremely worried about his people. What have you done? Ketsueki stands straight and looks at the leader with a look completely devoid of emotion. He kneels down and grabs a rock from the ground. He transforms it into a clone of himself. I sent myself to clean up the mess you made. Just imagine this, but then with about 30% of my power. More than enough to take care of whatever you brought with you. The leader loses himself in rage as he stands up screaming, Crow more! You bastard! As the leader rushes forward in anger, the Ketsueki clones finish up all the Palindra that were on the planet. Each clone looks around to scan the area to make sure they didn't miss any hiding Palindra. Each clone puts their hand on the ground and sends out a wave of energy to scan the area. As the waves sent out by each clone collide on the ground, it's a signal that the cleanup is finished. Each clone, having finished, places its hand on its chest and starts glowing. With a flash, they are reduced to a drop of blood that dissipates into nothingness, while the real Ketsueki swings back to match the sword swung by the leader. Ketsueki enforces his sword with enough energy to break the leader's blade as they clash. And in one quick, smooth motion, he turns his blade around to slash the leader's chest. The very moment Ketsueki's blade no longer touching the leader's skin, he opens his umbrella to catch all the blood that is about to spill forth. The leader is hurt, but feels that because Ketsueki is hiding behind his umbrella, he can attack him while Ketsueki can't see. The leader gathers his last bit of strength to strike down Ketsueki and deliver his final blow. But before he can, he notices that a shadow is being cast on him that is exponentially growing. He looks up and it's Ketsueki. He jumped up to deliver a final downward slash. The warrior screams in rage as he meets his final moments. Right before the blade is about to cut the leader in two, Ketsueki jumps back a great distance and grabs his umbrella as he jumps backwards. He places the umbrella in front of him to make sure no blood spatter touches him. The leader split in two and falls down. Ketsueki drops his umbrella and without breaking walks towards Leon. Trill Leon, why would you do that? He deserves more than to be a lab rat to those freaks at Central. Wasn't really your choice to make though. I know, but hey, I felt like this was for the best. Let me guess. You won't tell me where he is going either, right? Nah. Ketsueki tilts his head a little unsure about what to do next. He then looks at the remaining pupils of the gym who are anxiously awaiting what the Prime Perfect will do. Ketsueki then starts laughing. Ha 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 ha! Well, not much we can do about it now. If anyone asks, he was never here. Ketsueki then looks at all the pupils there with a threatening look on his face. And he exudes an aura of death as he asks for verification. Understood? All the pupils shake their heads in accordance. Ketsueki smiles and walks towards Leon jovially. Trilly, let's go get a drink. You do know the planet is basically half destroyed, right? Then let's just go to the other half. The stone clone that Ketsueki made is flying through the sky at an extremely fast speed. It's headed directly to where Demo and 10 are. Each clone is embedded with an order. Once that order is fulfilled, the the clone will destroy itself. The stone clone's order was to capture Demo and bring him to the real Ketsueki. Demo and Ten are happy to see each other again. His uncle is taking care of his mother to make sure that she is okay, and that the sudden appearance of the Palindra didn't push her further into her mind. She seems unscathed, and her state unchanged. Her brother sighs with relief as he turns back to look at Demo. He has never seen him before, and him coming out of a gate where the great Trill Leon was on the other side makes him automatically somewhat of a big deal. Ten, who is that? This is Demo. We met a few days back. Why was he with Trill Leon? Ten looks at Demo as if he feels like Demo is the best person to answer these questions. Demo looks at the uncle while shaking a little as if the question is self-explanatory. Because he asked me. Then why did he send you here? Demo turns to the ship as he answers. He told me to get off this planet and use this ship. Ten's uncle looks at Demo confused. Why would Leon tell a kid like him to get off the planet? Is something or someone chasing him? Someone strong enough to make the great Leon resort to this? And then he remembers what he heard coming through the Palindra's transponder. He thought it was just a similar sound, as languages at times overlap with sounds, but perhaps he heard it right, and the Prime Perfect was the reason the Palindra fled. Which means that perhaps the Prime Perfect is after Demo. If this is true, then Ten should stay far away from him. Ten, can I talk to you for a second? Ten looks at his uncle confused because this sudden weird request makes it seem as if Demo is a bad guy. Why? His uncle is reluctant to answer because he doesn't know if Demo is dangerous or not. Demo, on the other hand, senses the awkwardness, but is a little unclear as to why Ten's uncle is acting this way. So without any concern for the uncle's feelings, Demo starts talking to Ten. Do you know how to use this thing? Demo shows Ten the core that Leon gave him. Ten, who has never seen a core, doesn't know what it is, let alone how to use it. But his uncle immediately recognizes that it's a core, and since Demo was sent here, it's safe to assume it's the core for the ship. Ten's uncle is still unclear as to what the best possible course of action is. But since the Palindra fled, the immediate threat has been taken care of. So they don't have a real reason to leave the planet anymore, which means they have no reason to get involved with this. 10, we should bring your mother back to the home. Yeah, we should, but I want to know where Demo was and where he is going. That has nothing to do with you. Don't get mixed up with him. Demo looks at the uncle, slightly offended and surprised at the sudden judgment thrown his way. What's wrong with me? Nothing. I just don't think my nephew should be involved with someone like you. Like me? You clearly just came from the battlefield. You have a huge scar across your chest, and you're covered in what I can only assume is Palindra blood. So, yes, you. 10 feels like his uncle is unjustly attacking Demo, who most likely fought the Palindra to save the planet. That just means he protected us. Then why did Leon tell him to get off the planet? Something is off. Right when his uncle said that a huge gust of dust comes their way. 10, Demo, and the uncle all cover their faces to protect themselves against the dust. And when it settles, they see Ketsueki, the Prime Perfect, stand before them. 10's eyes light up with sheer excitement. There stands the ultimate symbol of what studying diligently can achieve. Without a second thought, 10 grabs a rock and transmutes it into a pen and paper. Do you think he will give me his autograph? 10 takes a step forward to meet his idol, but Demo puts his hand on 10's chest to stop him from moving forward. 10 is only a few steps away from meeting his idol, so he doesn't understand why Demo is stopping him. Why? Something is wrong. Demo saw the real Ketsueki in action and was able to feel the pressure his presence exudes. Demo was also able to ever so slightly grasp the depth of Ketsueki's power. But this version in front of him feels different. It's clearly leagues below the real version, but the bloodlust it's sending off is stronger. Demo doesn't understand it, but he knows that this version of Ketsueki is more dangerous somehow. The stone clone raises its blade, which is a lot shorter than the original, at Demo. Me with cum. Demo feels a tingle in his chest. Even though he would never admit it out loud, He knew that he wasn't a match for the real one, but this fake one is a lot weaker. Its bloodlust felt dangerous, but the power and depth of its energy felt well within the reach of what Demo should be able to handle. The excitement of fighting someone this strong was hard to hide. His eyes turn red as he is about to fight the strongest there is. Ten's eyes are fully open. He can't believe that the Prime Perfect, the symbol of knowledge and bravery, can't make a coherent sentence. A tear of disappointment rolls down his eyes, but he thinks to himself that perhaps he is such a genius that grammar itself should be adjusted to understand the level the Prime Perfect is on. But even so, Ten is conflicted and confused as to what is happening. Why is the Prime Perfect after you? I don't know, but Leon told me that if I went with him, my life would be over. So he sent me here to escape using the ship. Then you should get on the ship right now and run away. Demo smiles as he looks at the stone clone. That thing would destroy the ship without a second thought. The only way through is to defeat that thing first. Please don't call the Prime Perfect a thing. That's not the real one. Ten's eyes again open up with excitement because he realizes that the Prime Perfect isn't dumb. Is that his famous clone technique? They say that his blood clones have about 60% of his power. There is no way you can beat that. That thing isn't 60%. It feels more like 1%. Phew, that's good, that's good. That means this clone is stupid because he used an inanimate object. Ten sighs with relief as his dreams haven't been shattered. Meanwhile, Demo gets ready for the fight as the stone clone takes a step forward to engage him.